to add ROPA to our stable of services. And we were told you have a month to go to UiPath Academy and learn this stuff and be ready to deliver. And so we all went into the academy and learned. And my very first major project was for one of the biggest banks in Nigeria. And we're meant to automate a bot to integrate 2 platforms for the treasury department. It was a wonderful experience. We were able to do that in a couple of 6 weeks, delivered it, and 6 months later, they asked for additional features of the bot. Like I said in our first session, it's always important for you to go through what you have on UiPath Academy, because the content there is superb, it's easy. And I've even had the experience of meeting people who don't have basic programming experience. They've not heard about variables before. They've not even written a line of JavaScript, but following the content on UiPath Academy helped them to move along. And like we described in our first session, it's a path you can take along your RPA journey, and it can take you to becoming a professional RPA developer.
Awesome, thank you. Just picking up from where both of you concluded, I just wanted to understand from the audience, how many of you are from a conventional developer background, who have already been either working in the industry or have graduated in development side? You can either raise your hand or mention on chat. How many of you are already developers? Not necessarily RPA developers, I'm asking developers in general. I'm from CS background. Uday, thank you. Anyone else? Zar, thank you. I see your hand. Done some Kedareshwaran. Administrator, if you don't mind, can you just rename yourself with your actual name? It would be easier for me to follow you. Isaac, CS background, perfect. So how many of you have actually created your first bot as a part of this course in the last 2-3 days? How many of you installed StudioX? Studio, Samson, thank you so much. I have installed, yeah, perfect. So I have also posted the link to UiPath Academy on the chat. I will post it again. I created my bot 2 days back. Perfect, awesome. So you're going to create a lot more. I've started StudioX. Can anyone volunteer and unmute and mention how they have been experiencing the Reboot Your Skills program? What has been their experience so far? It's been, I think, 2-3 days since you have received and you might have gotten started the learning at some capacity. Samson, would you want to unmute yourself and just share your experience so far? Okay, perfect. But I can type, okay. Type safely. Hope you are not driving. Yes, Afe Ronak can just take the participants. Maybe you can share your screen and we take them through any small build a bot kind of a use case or a case study or a demo, maybe something data scripting or anything which can where people can see how easy it is.
Sure. Let me just try to.
Meanwhile, I request all the participants to, yeah, you can share the screen. I can't see it yet. Meanwhile, I request all the participants to make sure that you write your questions. You can also unmute yourself and speak up. This is the forum for you. And we have participants here. We have the experts here to get your questions answered.
So Rohit, hi, this is Uday. So
Hi,
yeah,
Uday.
I've installed the studio. I just need, I thought this session was meant to get started and build your first bot. So there I need some help, or if you could guide me to the documentation or the training material, then that way we can start.
Sure. You just wanted to check, have you received an email where you actually were given some link around building your first bot? Did you receive something like that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can check that. So you would have received the mail with the link to the documentation and the videos on where you will have that guided method to create your first bot. It will be a very simple exercise, but you will actually get a taste of automating something. It will be a very small function. So that will be there. And yes, Ronak, maybe you can share the screen and
we can. Sure, I'm just switching between the licenses.
Okay. So are we treating the unicorn name bot? So you can have two parts of it. The first one that uses Microsoft Office, and the other one that uses the G Suite Workspace.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ronak, which one are you doing?
Yeah, so maybe I would like to show some Excel operation, how we can use UiPath Studio to read Excel, to write Excel, to manipulate the data. I will just show you all on UiPath Studio how easy it was, because when I started RPA, there was no experience.
StudioX.
StudioX.
Studio. I would like to show on Studio. The reason is because when I started, there was no StudioX. There is only Studio. But also you find it easy, like there is not big difference. You just need to understand few small things. That's why I'm gonna show you some simple operation on Studio, and then maybe you can try to do the same with StudioX. It's so simple. There will be not some challenges, I hope. So let me share my screen.
And after that, FA, maybe you can show a unicorn name bot creation as well.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Let's do that.
I can see the screen. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So first, before that, I would like to show you something. What RPA can do. So these all are some basics, which we can do with RPA. Let's say if you want to log into any application, if you want to scrape data from any web application, as well as some your internal in-house application, which is used within your organization, for example, SAP or any in-house application. You can copy paste the data with RPA. You can move files and folders. You can extract structured, semi-structured content from PDF, from emails, from any kind of standard forms. You can read and write to the databases. When I say databases, that means you can even read and write to SQL database or any other database. For that, you need to make connection to your UiPath Studio. You can open emails, you can save attachment, you can add attachment, and you can make calculations. So these all are a few basics operations which you can do with UiPath. There are many more. Like for example, you can do API integration. You can make API call to any application with UiPath Studio with proper endpoints and credentials. So RPA does not have, the limit just to say that drag and drop and just try to use, few application where you are limited to. It's not like that. You can even do the integration between two systems with the help of UiPath. So for example, let's say if you have one application which is used for purchasing, if you have one application called SAP, you can integrate both with the help of UiPath. So RPA is growing in such a way. Initially, for example, if you need to read any kind of PDF or any semi-structured document, you have to, you have various options. Either you can read entire thing as a text, and then you can use the calculation thing to manipulate the strings and get the extracted data, like whichever you needed. But now UiPath has a really nice product called document understanding, where you just need to, teach the robot, and there are machine learning models and artificial intelligence is there. So this will help you to, understand the semi-structured data, and it will give you more accuracy, almost 90-95%. If you have a semi-structured document with the same format, it will give you really high accuracy as well. Now I'm gonna show you something which I have created. So let's focus on one use case. So for example, I have this Excel file, and I will try to show you how we can use UiPath here. So let's say I have this file where I have the employee detail, and I just wanted to find out the employee whose age is, let's say, less than 30 years. So for example, if I wanted to identify from this list of the peoples, whoever has the age of less than 30, for example. So here you can see by naked eyes, it's like 2%, Suraj and Marvin, they both are less than 30 years old. But what if this list is of, let's say, 5,000 employees? Then in that case, either you can use filters, but if you wanted to do something with those employees, let's say you need to find out those employees in your Workday application or any other application where you need to upload some document or you need to download some document about those employees, then here RPA can come into the picture, which can, repeatedly look for the employee and do the next task. So this is how we used to build end-to-end, or you can say entire process we can automate with this RPA. So you can see here how this is UiPath Studio looks like. So it's almost same. So from a viewpoint of view, here is the activity panel. You can see all the activities available. This is the designer panel, which we call the main window, where you can design your software robot. This is the property window, which will give you the insights about the activity which you are using. This is the output window, where whatever is going on, whatever robot is doing, you can see all these log messages here. It's easy for tracking. Here also in this window, you can see project. So this is my project where these all are the dependencies added. I will come back to this dependency in a few minutes. Then this is all my project settings. So when I say project, that means my software robot settings. So you can see everything here, whatever screenshot. If I'm taking any screenshot in my code, few objects, metadata, and all kind of things. Here you can see my project file, JSON file, where everything is written. My configuration of my software robot, you can say like this. So I'll show you first. So what to extract some. So first, what we need to do, we need to read this Excel file from here, and how we can do this with UiPath. So basically, first we need a sequence, or flowchart sequence is nothing, it's just a folder, you can say, or it's a container where you can group all your activities inside this. And after that, you can create as much as sequence if you want. It's depend upon how your process looks like, whether this is a sequential process, which you just need to go from A to B, or whether this is a transactional process where you need to go to A to B, but there are more repeated work at the point B, something like that. So here, our process is so simple. Read the Excel, then check each employee one by one and check their age. If the age is less than our threshold value, and then we need this employee number, and we can use this employee number for further processing. How I can do that? Here you can see UiPath has provided already pre-built activity. So I don't need to write how to read an Excel. If I just search for Excel here, you will see all these operations I can perform on Excel. So you can see Excel application scope, delete range, copy sheet, append. For processing, I can also do this. So it's not only just reading and writing, you can execute macro, you can autofill range, and you can perform all the operations on Excel, which you can do from front end, like manually. So here, I'm using Excel application scope. Excel application scope is a container. You can see if you mouse over here, you will read the description. It opens an Excel workbook providing a scope for Excel activity. When the activity ends, the workbook and the Excel application are closed. If the specified file does not exist, then new file is created. What does it mean? If you go to the property, then you can see this is my Excel application scope. That means this is the container where I need to provide Excel configuration. What does it mean? I need to provide UiPath workbook. So which file I'm going to use? So this is my file called demo.xlsx. So I'm using here, you need to provide path. It says create if not exist. Here it will not help because the Excel file is already there. But for example, if you are writing something in an Excel file and the file is not there, then you can just type the path and robot can create it automatically. Here you can customize this cache period. You can customize the setting for macros. You can make it either read only, or you can make it, you can keep it unchecked. So then you can read and write to this Excel. And here you can see save changes. What does it mean? So if you are doing any Excel operation and you are doing somewhere here, then if you put save changes, that means after each execution, robot is going to save this Excel file. The meaning of visible, that means do you want to see what robot is doing on your screen? So that means this is visible, if checkbox is checked. If you uncheck, then everything will happen in background. You will not be seeing anything here. And output, this is very important here. So for example, if this is Excel you are using and you would like to use the same Excel in the next step of your process, then you can create an output variable. When you drag and drop a new Excel application scope, you don't need to provide the same configuration here. You can just provide this one called use existing workbook. Then you don't need to configure. You don't need to configure all these details like workbook path, read only, visible. You just need to provide the path, and robot will take the output, and then robot will take the configuration from your previous Excel application scope. Now, the next step is we need to read this Excel. So there is an activity called read range. How to do that? You need to provide here the sheet name, you can see, and which range you would like to read. Here, I can ideally provide from A1 till E6, but if you provide a blank, a nothing or null, that means the robot is going to read the entire table. So this is best because if my Excel has more rows, then I don't need to customize the range. But if, for example, if you just wanted to use the first 2 columns or something, then you can provide the custom range here. And the output which you need to create is a data table. So output of reading this Excel is a data table. You can see I just created a variable called data table. If I go here on the variable window, you can see this is my variable, and you can see the variable type is data table. You have all the flexibility here to choose whatever variable you want. So the few and most used variables types are like Boolean, integer, string, object, array, but you have a lot more. So you can see these all are the variables types you can create in UiPath. It depends upon what kind of automation you are doing, and the scope. This is very, very important. The scope means this variable is accessible in which container. As of now, you can see the scope is within this container called do, and this is the do. If I want to, if I want this variable to be accessible entire this sequence, then I can just here and change this to sequence. Then my variable will be accessible here as well after this do container as well. And so I have a data table now called data.excel. What I need to do, I just need to apply a for each loop here. So for that as well, you don't need to write any code. How it looks like for each row in the data table, it's so simple. Like if you read it like this, for each row in the data table, what I need to get employee name, employee age as an integer, employee number. I will come to this one as well. So here you can see employee name. How I can do that? Here is the row and here is the column name. So you can see my column name is name. So that's why you just need to write here like row, then name dot toString. That means I'm getting employee name in the form of string for row number first, because this is in the loop. When the loop execute for the second time, then I will get employee name for the second employee. Similarly, I'm getting age here, but just to compare, I need age in the integer format, not in the string format, because then the comparison will not be easy for me, for example. So that's why I have to convert it to integer. So how you can do that? Convert dot to integer. So there are already pre-built .NET methods. You can just, if you know, you can just use them. For example, if you just write here, let's say, if I say draw.age dot, then you will get all the methods which you can use after this here. So here I need to use toString. So I'm just selecting toString. Then similarly, you can get employee number as well. And here is the comparison. So we have an activity called if. For example, if you want to compare something, just drag and drop here. and provide the conditions. So I would say employee age is less than 25 years. Then write the employee number and employee name. When I use this write line activity, that means the thing is gonna written here in my output window. But if you wanted to do some next step, then you can put it here in this sequence. If I, for example, if I run this robot now, let's see how it works. So you just need to hit the play button, run button, and you can see here Excel execution started, and robot is able to find out one employee whose age is less than 25. You can see here his age is less than 25. And if you want to change, then just change it to 30 and run the robot again. We will get 2 employees. So robot is not gonna take more time. You will see here 2 or 3. I guess 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So these 3 employees are less than 30. And similarly, you can perform your next operation here. Last thing, which is very, very important here, you can see here packages. So what does packages means? For example, if you are performing PDF operation, or if you are doing any operation, first you need to download the dependency or project for that, which you can go in here, manage packages, and you can download. So when I download this Excel activity package, that means you are able to see everything in your activity panel here. So for example, here, if I search for PDF, I don't have any. So for that, what I need to do, I need to go all packages and then just search for PDF. You will see some pre-built activities provided by UiPath. Just hit install, save it, and then you will be able to see what all operations you can perform on PDF. Anybody has any question?
Yeah, could you just show us what are the different apps which you can integrate, like how Excel is one of the apps?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for example, if you search for SAP, then you can integrate with SAP. In the end, if the UiPath does not have the list of apps which you can integrate, then when there is one standard activity which you can say use application or browser. So this one you can use to integrate with any application. Any means any application. For example, if you just drag and drop here called use application, from here I'm showing you Studio. So this is more advanced version, but when you go to StudioX, it will be more simple for you when you see from a UI point of view. So here I need to provide the input element where I can just provide the path. So let's say if I wanted to use my Windows media player to play a music, then I can put the Windows media player link here. Then robot is gonna open the application and I can perform all my tasks on that. So there is one common application called use application or browser. This can also be used for browser. So let's say if you are interacting with Chrome, Edge, or any other browser, you just need to indicate where you are interacting. Similarly, for example, if the Excel activities are not there, then you can use this activity to work on this Excel from front end. So you can see here, I have selected this, and you see the application path is taken by automatically here, application argument, and I can perform. So let's say if I wanted to click or if I wanted to copy this data by doing Control A, then you can just do it here with, let's say, send hotkey. There is an activity called send hotkey. I would show you like this. Oh no, 1 second. Yes, send hotkey. And then you can
Ronak?
perform all the operation. Yes.
Hello, it's Christina.
Hi,
I was wondering whether at some point you could switch to profile for StudioX and show them on StudioX.
Indeed.
Do you
Sure.
think you could
I can
do that, please? Thank
Sure,
you very
I can
much.
do that.
So, because these are the very first steps in automation, and we don't want to confuse anyone with
Indeed.
Studio. So
Indeed.
better to work with the software indicated, please.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So
It's
let
not
me
much
show.
difference, but it counts.
Yes. Let me
Thank
show
you.
this to StudioX. Let's see how it looks like.
Because guys, this is the software you downloaded, StudioX. This is the interface you chose, and now Ronak is going to switch interface to show you in the software you have for this program.
Indeed. Let me open.
Ronak,
Yes.
can I use the opportunity to demo the unicorn names?
Yeah, sure. Let me just finish in a couple of minutes. I can just show you how the StudioX looks like and how this project looks like in StudioX. Oh, because I'm using some other activity. That's why it says some of the things are not compatible with StudioX. That means you are going backward, not forward. So let me open other project, which I can show you quickly how the StudioX looks like. Here you go. Here is the same activity which we discussed called use application in browser. The view and look and feel is a little bit different, but you have all the things which you can customize here. So you can see how this activity looks like. And if you want to automate anything, just select this like I did it in the studio. And everything will be here, and you can just search in this activity panel what you wanted to do. Similarly for Excel, you have all the things available here, and you can perform whatever operations you would like to perform. That's it from my side. Up to you, Afe.
Thank you very much, Ronak.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ronak, for the demo.
Yeah. Afe, are you able to share screen?
Yes, I'll do that immediately.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I suppose that you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so hi again, everyone. Ronak just showed us how Studio looks like, and then switched to the StudioX profile to also show us how the interface looks like. And someone asked a question when Ronak was doing the demo, what's the difference between StudioX and Studio? Now remember, the Reboot Your Skills program, it's meant for citizen developers. That means business people, non-developers that have little or no coding experience or background. And so StudioX has been designed in such a way that it allows you to easily build automations with little or no code. In fact, for most cases, I've seen no code at all. Okay, now it's easy, and that's the focus for the Reboot Your Skills program, and that's what you download. It's actually the same application. Studio and StudioX are the same application, but just different profiles, like you saw when Ronak switched from Studio to StudioX. So you must have seen that in the contents or the material you were given access to for this week. And the first automation is what is called unicorn name. So I'm going to start, we're going to do one using Microsoft Office, and then we'll do a second one using the G Suite Workspace or Google Workspace, okay? So for those of you who already have Excel, Microsoft Office Excel, and you have Outlook Desktop, then you're comfortable with the first demo we're going to do. And then for those of you who use Google Sheets and Gmail, we're going to be comfortable with the second demo. So just bear with us as we go through these two types, these two flavors of the same automation. Okay, so when you open Studio, you're going to see this interface, and it might be different for some of you based on if you have an older version, because this is the most recent version of Studio. So if you have an older version, you may be seeing this new on the right-hand side. But nevertheless, you just look at the interface and look for new. We want to create a new automation. And so we take blank task. So if you are using an old version, you will see blank task and template on the right side of your screen. So if I select blank task, it's going to bring out this dialog box, and you will need to give your process a name, and you need to give it a description. By default, UiPath will store every new application within its work directory, except you want to indicate otherwise. But for this purpose, the purpose of this demonstration, we don't want to change any of that. We'll just give it a name. Let's say today it's Friday, so we'll just say Friday underscore unicorn underscore name. Yes, if you have any questions, please, you can put them on the chat. Then description, a bot to use Microsoft Office and Outlook desktop. Just a simple description, and then click on create. The moment you do that, StudioX is going to prepare the workspace for you, the work folders, your project folders, and also load into memory all the various packages you're going to use. So let's give it a bit of a moment, and we're going to see how the screen looks like. It's similar to what you saw when Ronak was demoing Studio for us. So you're going to see the activities panel on the left. You're going to see the output properties and data manager for object repository panels on the right. You're going to see your error list down. So yes, it's fully loaded. So let me quickly show you. So you can see, depending again on the version of Studio you're using, your activities panel, you can see on the left may look different, but nothing really much has changed. It's just the UI, the user interface. We're going to see your activities ordered by resources and by actions. So as you can see, these are resources, and then you can see your actions based on the applications that have been integrated for you to use on StudioX. So you have Microsoft Word. Since someone asked the question, it's Microsoft Word. You can automate PowerPoint, mail. You can do file and folder automation, Excel automation, data automation, and then some other common actions that you can do surrounding control, dates and text, and so on and so forth. So these are the activities, shows you the cards you can use for your resource and your actions. So StudioX is basically that you take actions and you use them inside a resource card. So if I'm going to do web automation, then there are going to be actions around web or UI automation that I will use with my use application or browser resource. If I'm doing Excel automation, there are going to be Excel actions that I'm going to use inside the use Excel file resource card. So it's that simple. So now for unicorn name, let's see, for the purpose of this, if someone asked a question earlier, I think that should be Samson, like he is confused, he doesn't know what activity should come before the order. So it's very, very simple. What you are building your robot to do is to mimic how a human being carries out the same task. So for the purpose of this demo, we're going to build a robot that can fetch a unicorn name from a website based on the name, your first name you supply, and your month of birth. Okay, so let's open our browser. For this purpose, I will use Edge. So I believe most of you must have gotten the URL. I'm going to paste it on the chat. Okay, so that's the URL. I'm going to use it here. So if as a human being, if I were to do this task, what will I do? I'll open my browser, right? That's step number one, open my browser. Step number two, I'm going to put in the URL like I've done, and it will open. Step number three, I'm going to enter my name here. And step number four, I'm going to select from this drop-down list the month of birth. And then the next step, I'm going to click on get unicorn name, and I'm going to get this. Then I'll need to copy this. And then I'll need to go to Outlook and compose a mail with it, put in the destination email address and the subject, and then send, right? That's what I would have done. Okay, now, if you want to use a robot to do the same thing, it's the same set of steps you're going to follow. Though not exactly, because we have what is called the human part and the robot part. And so I will encourage you that after this program, you go to UiPath Academy and go through the full-fledged Citizen Developer Foundation course. You see so many examples, so many practice exercises that you can do for all possible automations that you can do with StudioX. It's a nice and exhaustive course content there that you can use to improve yourself, okay? Now, so you're going to learn more about the robot part. But for the purpose of this session, we're going to just demo it, right? So I have done this. This is what a human being would have done, right? Okay. But what if we want to build this? You discover from what I've done so far. Number one, I've used the UI. I've used my browser. In this case, Microsoft Edge. And if I were to send a mail, I will use my Outlook desktop application. And what if it's not my name I want to put, and I have this downloaded file? There's a downloaded file that you have gotten from your content. Let me look for it. Okay, so there is this file. I'm going to copy it and just put it on the desktop here. Okay, so this is the file. If you open it, you're going to see there's a name here. So it means there are 3 applications that I'm going to use for my automation. So number 1 would be MS Excel. 2, it's going to be, in this case, I'm using Edge browser, and I'm going to be using Outlook desktop, right? So how do we start? You discover that I need to go first to the browser to put in the URL and then start the work or start getting my unicorn name. So I'll go to StudioX and I'm going to use this resource, use application browser, drag it here into your design area. And you see this indicate application to automate. So we can use this resource for a desktop application or for any browser, okay? And before you can do this, there's a part of your course content that says you must have installed some add-ins. In this case, if you go to Home and go to Tools and go to Extensions, you should have installed your Chrome extension, or in this case, since I'm using Edge, you'd have installed your Edge extension. So if you know you've installed StudioX and you have been able to install either your Chrome extension or your Firefox extension or your Edge extension based on the browser you use or that you prefer, as well as your Excel add-in, can you please indicate on the chat if you've been able to do that? Just say, okay. So let's see how many persons have been able to use the content they've been given for this week to get to this point. If you know you've installed StudioX, you've created an automation cloud account, and you've been able to connect your StudioX to your automation cloud account, and you've also been able to install the UiPath extensions. Can you just indicate that? Just put yes on the chat. Hello, guys. Waiting. Nobody? I hope everyone can hear me.
Guys, is anyone following Afe and the first automation unicorn name?
Yes, this is the first automation. So I'm trying to see, I'm asking a question if they've been able to follow the content provided for the week to install StudioX and then install these extensions as well.
How many of you have installed the StudioX on your laptops or desktops? Can you answer us in chat? I think they're shy of it. Let's get on with it.
So let me get on with it. So you
tell us.
Yeah, when you're installing StudioX, you'll be given the opportunity during the installation to install your browser extension as well as Excel.
Zag is saying that he cannot see it. Zag, what is it that you cannot see in your? So have you opened?
Yeah, I opened my UiPath, but under the tools, I cannot see UiPath extension.
So possibly you're using the old version, not this. This is a very, I think this one was updated 2 days ago. So
my one
you
is
should
only
see
2021. Okay.
Okay, can you share your screen? Let me stop sharing that. Let's see your screen because that's the purpose of this
sure.
session. Yeah.
And after this, Afe, please show how you can switch from Studio to StudioX, because we also have guys which are on Studio now and they need to switch to StudioX.
Okay, no problem.
Thank
So, Zara, can you share your screen? Let's see. Let's help you.
But where is the share option? Because
So if you look at your Zoom application, you see share
Yeah.
screen. Just if you
Okay, I
hover
got
at the bottom. Yep.
yeah, I got it.
Okay, we can see.
Okay, so you can see this is, can you see UiPath extensions there? That's Chrome. Can you see Chrome? So what browser do you favor or prefer?
I prefer
So which
Chrome.
one? Okay, so for you to install Chrome, you need to you ensure that your Chrome browser, all instances of it are closed. Okay, so
Okay.
close it, then close it, then click on this, it will install. And then when it's done, you will need to open your Chrome back, right? Okay, continue, click on OK.
Okay.
So when it's done, you're going to get a message. Okay, you can see that. Then open your Chrome, and then you need to enable the extension. So open Chrome.
Okay, from here, right?
No, your Chrome browser. Open your Chrome
Okay,
browser.
I already opened.
We're not seeing it, so you need to share that so that we can see. You're not sharing the full window.
Oh,
We can only still see UiPath Studio. Yep.
okay. Let me
So you can
share
stop sharing
again.
and then share again. Yeah.
Yeah, share screen, not to tab. So share whole screen in the options.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after this is
Yes.
this is my Chrome, right?
Yeah. So you need to go to extensions. So can you see? No, go back to your Chrome browser. Yeah. So can you click on? Can you click on the ellipsis? This is under your close. Yeah, which is like your menu button. No, under the close button for your.
Which one? This one?
I think it's the 3 dots, Afe.
Yeah.
To
If
the
you
right.
close, if you click on the 3 dots,
3 dots.
Yeah, the 3 dots. Yeah, that's the ellipsis button on the menu
above,
button. Yes.
after your name,
Below the
after your name Z.
Oh, this one.
no, below the
Yes.
close. Yeah, that's the one. Then you need to go
Settings.
to settings.
Settings. Oh, sorry. Settings.
Yeah. Then extensions. You can see that on the vertical menu on the left. Extensions.
On extension, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Now
can see.
you can see.
Turned on.
Yeah. Look at it. UiPath Web Automation. Can you see it there?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. It's already enabled. So that's
Okay.
nice. Okay.
Okay.
Then all of your Excel add-in. Have you done your Excel add-in? So go back to Studio.
Go back to my studio.
Yep.
Okay.
You have it at the bottom of your screen, the tab for Studio. Yeah.
Okay, so look at Excel add-in. Ensure that your Excel is closed. Close Excel.
Yeah.
So you have Excel open. Close Excel first.
Closed. Yeah. Okay.
Now click on Excel add-in on the window there. Then okay that.
I don't think she closed Excel. I think Excel is
sent-
still open.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Go
But
back to Excel. Go to it. Click on it.
Which one? This one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Click on it. Oh, it was closed.
I think it was closed.
Now
It was
close it
closed.
again.
Okay.
From
Close
upper
it
screen.
again.
Okay.
Let's give it a moment. Just wait a bit. Wait a bit. Can you do
I think it's that.
okay, so click on Excel add-in. Let's see.
Mm.
Okay, click on OK. It doesn't work. You need to repair Office.
Okay.
Okay. So I suppose it's been installed, so you should be good. But in case it doesn't work, can you see repair tool for Microsoft Office there at the top?
Yeah.
In case it doesn't integrate successfully with Excel, you can click on that later to repair Office.
Sure.
Office.
I will
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
So for Hussein, can you share your screen, Hussein, so that we can quickly use you as use your screen to show how to switch the platforms profiles. Hussein?
Yeah, sure.
Hussein, you are able to share screen. Just wanted to check if you have the permissions.
Yeah, yes. Just sharing.
Okay. So can you click on settings? Then can you see license and profile? Right, click on view or change profile. Then click on UiPath StudioX. Yep. Restart, and it should switch now when it opens back. Just give it a moment. It's going to reopen.
Okay.
So you need to sign in.
Okay. Then I had to sign in.
You can,
right?
yeah, you can stop sharing so we don't see your password. If you want to continue, you can. So just sign in, and what you have should be the your StudioX profile. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
We can continue. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to share my screen back,
Thank
and
you,
then
Afe.
we'll quickly. Yes. Okay. So we're going to quickly go through what we have here. So we'll go back to what we're trying to build. Remember, like I said, we have 3 applications we want to use. In my case, I'm using Edge. You can also use Chrome. It doesn't matter. So if you are using Edge, you should have installed your Edge extension. If you're using Chrome, you should have done that. If you're using Firefox, it's the Firefox extension you should have installed on your browser or your preferred browser. Okay. So this is the card you use. I'm going to start again. So I'm going to right click on this and take delete so that we start afresh. So since I need to use a browser and go to the unicorn name direct URL or page, then I need to use this resource called use application or browser. So I'm going to I can drag it here, or I can double click on it, anyone. So there are 3 ways you can add a card to your workspace. Either you drag it, or you double click on it, or you use this plus button here. It's the same thing. So I'm going to be using them interchangeably. So I just double click this one, and it says indicate application to automate. So you can use this result for a desktop application or for a browser. So in this case, I want to use a browser, and I have ensured that that page is already open on the browser. So watch this. If I go back to Studio and click indicate application to automate, you're going to see very soon that it's going to try to locate this guy. So you can see, so if I have multiple desktop applications open on my screen, as I hover my mouse on each of them, names of the screen real estate they occupy, you're going to see that UiPath Studio is able to notice, oh, this is an application. Is it what he wants to select? If I move it to another application, so, oh, is this the one he wants to select? But in this case, you can see it has selected my Edge browser. So I'm going to click on this. The moment I do that, watch what happens. You see it's been able to pick that I'm using Edge browser, and it's been able to find the name of the page and also pick the URL. That's how good StudioX is, okay? So now that we have this, remember it's equal to a human being opening Edge, typing this URL and opening this page. That's what we just done on StudioX. So the next thing you know the human being will do here is to input the name, but the name is inside Excel, this Excel file. So what do I need to do if I want to do carry out Excel automation? I will need the Excel resource, which is in this case now, go up, use Excel file. And I'm going to drag it inside here. Reason being, it is while I am working on the browser, I will need data from Excel. That's the reason why I am putting the Excel card or resource card inside the browser card. Does that make any sense? Hello, guys. Okay, nobody's responding. Everybody's quiet this morning or this day. Okay, so I have this Excel file, and StudioX has a deep integration with Microsoft Office, and you're going to see in a moment, because it says here, select Excel file. So for the purpose of this automation, I can have my Excel file anywhere, but just to make it, so if you click on this browse for file, you could browse for it anywhere. And in this case, it's on my browser or my desktop. I can select that. The moment I do that, you can see it has put the file path here. And since it's just a file I'm using, I'm not actually saving anything to it. I will uncheck save changes and uncheck create if not exists. So I'm set to do some Excel automation here. And you know, the first thing I need to do after I open the Excel sheet is to get the name and then input it onto the browser. So how do I do that? Because of the deep integration with StudioX and Microsoft Office, I do not need to, first of all, try to read the cell. I can ask StudioX to pick the value straight for me and put it on the browser. And you know, when you have a browser, as a human being, what do? You will type the name. So which means the activity I want to use will be something around type. So if I type here to search, you can see type into for app and web automation. So like I said in the beginning, most of these actions you're going to use are categorized in terms of the applications they are related to. So of course, when you see change type, this is not the one you're going to use because you're trying to use, do some web or app automation. So this is the one you're going to use. In this case, I'm going to drag this inside here. The reason being that I'm able to use the deep integration of StudioX with Excel to pick the data from that Excel file and use that value to type onto the browser. So it says here, indicates on that web page where you want to do this typing. So if you click on this, StudioX is intelligent enough as you hover your mouse to pick various portions of the user interface. In this case, I want to use this text box. Click on it. Then it's going to do some searching, get the target, and select the anchor. So the anchor now is the label for that box. And so we can validate that, and you can see validation is successful, and we click on confirm. So you can see that. So, but what do we want to type there? If I click on this plus button, you remember I'm using Excel. Now, why am I using Excel there? I can change this reference and say Unicorn Excel sheet. If I come back here and click on this, you can see this. So it's the reason why I'm doing that is so that in case you are using multiple Excel files in your automation, you don't want to get confused. So this renaming or this reference makes me know easily that, okay, this is the actual Excel sheet or file I'm referring to. So indicate in Excel. If I click indicate in Excel, because of the integration between StudioX and Office, and that Excel add-in you installed, you're going to see this happen. So I select this and click on confirm. So right there, you see it's been able to pick that value inside. Now, the next thing I need to do is to select the month. This is a drop down. I can't type. So what I need to select a value here. So just go back and remove what you've typed here in the search space and put in select and see if there's an activity around that. So you can see that under app and web automation, there is select item, right? Okay. So I can drag select item here and also indicate on the web page where I want the bot to focus on, which is this drop down. Click on it. It's going to get the target and get the anchor and validate to see that it's successful, and then we confirm that. So what value do we want to put there? We'll also go back to our Unicorn Excel sheet, indicate in Excel, and pick the date, month rather, and click on confirm. And the moment we do that, let's see, yeah, we're good to go here. Now we've done the first two actions. The next thing we need to do is click on the button. Okay, so we need a click activity. So you type click there and hit enter. You can see this click under app and web automation. Drag it inside here and indicate on the web page. This is the guy. We can validate it and confirm it. So that's the click. Now, once we click on that, remember when we were trying to do this earlier, if I were to type in a name and select a month and click on this, it's going to bring this out. I need to copy this and use this as data in a mail I want to send. So how do I get this? There's an activity called get text. So if I type get text here, hit enter, I'm going to get this card. I'll drag it inside here and then indicate on the page, this is it. But it has no anchor. So because this is your unicorn name, this label will always appear. I just move and select it as the anchor and then validate, and I can confirm it's successful. Okay, now if I get this value, I need to save it into a variable. So depending on the version of StudioX you are using, if you are using the old one, you will see something like save for later use. Yeah, that's the name. So you're going to be saying save for later use. This is what you will see when you click on this plus button. So instead of create variable, you're going to see save for later use. But if you have a newer installation of StudioX, you're going to see create variable. So either one, whether it is save for later use or create variable. Just know that they mean the same thing, depending on the version you are using. So I'm going to click on this, create a variable, and call it my unicorn name. Together, please. So we create the variable, all the characters we're using should be joined together, no spaces. Okay, that, right? So the reason why we are saving it so that we are able to use that value in other parts of our automation, right? Okay, so we are good at this point. We are good at this point, and let's just run this to see if it will work the way we anticipate. So let's click on run. So it's gotten it, right? But that value, we want to use it as the body of a mail to send a mail. So we are done with this portion of the automation. So if we want to send a mail, we need to use a resource for that. In this case, we're using desktop Outlook. So drag this here quickly. And you may need to connect or put a form of integration or connection between your StudioX and your Outlook application on your desktop. And so here I already have this. So what we show here, the email addresses that we show here are connected to what email accounts you have on your Outlook. So you can see because these two exist here, that's why they are showing here. So if you click on this and you're not seeing any email, then you need to go to your desktop Outlook and ensure that you've added a mail account, an email account here. Okay. So for this demo, I'm going to use the first email there. So I'm going to select that email account. Then I'm going to reference it as this. In case you are using multiple email accounts in your automation, this reference enables you to know what email account you are referring to at any point in your automation. So this is the resource. But what action do I really want to do? I want to send an email. So if you go to your mail category here, you're going to see send email. I'm going to drag this here. Okay, and you can see automatically it's using this email account I've indicated there. I want to send it to any person. So just click on this, click on text, and I can type an email address here. I could say I want to send it to james.bond@gmail.com. Okay, when you type the email address, you click on save. And then what's the subject? You can click on this again, the plus sign, and take text. I want to say my unicorn name, okay? And click on save. Now, the body of the mail, we want it to be a text. And in this case, the value we saved earlier, is that variable is what we want to use. Now, again, if you are using the old version, what you're going to see would be use saved value. But if you're using this new version, you're going to see use variable. So either use variable or use saved value is going to do the same thing. So you see the list of variables you've saved, and you can select that. And that's why it's also important. If you look at our data manager, you see the resources we have used so far. You see we have our sheets, our browser, Edge, and the email, and the variable we have saved, okay, in our data manager. Okay, now I'm going to leave this checked, save as draft, because I don't want to send the email actually. So save as draft, if I check my Outlook desktop application, I'm going to see the draft when this automation runs. Okay, so I think we are good to go. At this point, I'm going to run the automation now. Good. So let's click on this. Okay, so let's go to this is the accounts I tried to use. Yeah, so this is, can you see this draft? If I open it, you can see this is what it got from the web page. So that's how you can do your unicorn name automation using Microsoft Excel, a browser, Chrome or Edge or Firefox in conjunction with your Outlook desktop application. Any question at this point before we quickly jump into Google's Workspace? Anyone? Any question? Are we good to go? Okay, no question. So permit me the next 10 minutes to quickly do that for those who use Google Sheets. Okay, so let me delete these. Or someone is still asking how to change from Studio to StudioX. So quickly go to Home. If you're not seeing this, Melissa, if you're not seeing this interface, you need to click on Home, go to Tools. If you go to Tools, look for a UiPath extension. Okay, Melissa, I think the best thing, share your screen, please. These challenges are the purpose of this session as well. Melissa, can you share your screen?
Melissa, you there?
Hi, Melissa.
I can't share now. Okay, she's not. Maybe.
Okay, so if that's the case, just come to Tools, look for UiPath extensions. It may open like this, so you may need to click on UiPath extension.
Your screen is not on share.
Oh, sorry. So sorry about that. So like I said, you need to locate Tools, Melissa, locate Tools. Then if depending on the version of StudioX that you have installed, you may see it open like this. But in the older version, all of this information are together on the same, these apps and UiPath extension on the same page. So just look for the UiPath extensions section. If it's a tab like this, you can click on it to open it. If not, you should just see it as a section on the page, like we saw with who's the other person that we did for just now, Hussein. And then, although not Hussein, that should be Zar. And then you can install your UiPath extension for your browser and also your Excel add. Ensure that your browser is closed before you click on install, and also ensure Excel is closed before you click on install. Is that okay? So quickly, let's now move to doing another one. I'm going to close this. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to I'm going to create a new automation. This one, I'm going to call it Google Unicorn name. Okay. Description: use G Suite for unicorn name bot. Quickly. So the logic is still the same, but in this case, there's an activity package. Thank you, Ronak, for that. Thank you very much. There's an activity package for those of you who want to use your Google Drive. You want to integrate StudioX with Google Drive, your worksheets, Google Sheets, and so on. You need to install a package for that. And in the content you've given for this week, you will discover that you told to, so if you look at your StudioX interface, you're going to see a ribbon under design. So this is the ribbon. You can see save and all of this. Locate manage packages. When you do that, you're going to come to official. And then type G Suite. And then click on this to install it. So save. So when you do that, it's going to take all the activities and resources connected with our package and add them to your workspace so you could have access to them to use. So you can see that all of a sudden, I now have use Google Documents, use Google Spreadsheets. These were not here before I added our package. So that's how you do that in order for you to do G Suite automation. Or if you want to create a unicorn board, same using Google Sheets. Okay, so the same thing occurs here. That same URL is what we're going to use for the automation. This time around, I want to use Chrome for my automation. So this is Chrome. So I'm going to hurry up now. Sorry for taking your time. So I drag in my use application or browser, and of course, it will ask me to indicate the application I want to automate. I click on this and I locate this guy. It's saying cannot communicate with this because that means my extension is not working. So I'm going to click escape and go back to. I normally, sorry for that, I use 3 instances of Chrome. So I'm going to enable it. And once I do that, if I go back to, if I go back to Studio and click on this, yeah, stopped. So click on this and it is selected. It's able to know that I'm using Chrome and it has put the URL there. Now, remember, I want to use Google Sheets. When we are doing the one using Excel, we have to drag in the use Excel file. But in this case, I'm going to drag in use Google Spreadsheet. I'm going to use Google Spreadsheet. Drag it here. So that's going to be my resource. Correct. Now it's going to ask me to select an account. I already added this account, but if you don't have an account added already, click on add account. Then you're going to ask you to sign in, do authentication into your Gmail account. And once you put in your password, UiPath StudioX is able to easily create a connection between StudioX and your Google account. Okay, so that's what you do when you use add new account. If you already have the account there, just click on that. So I'm using this guy, and I want to use existing sheets, and I need to indicate the sheet. So I click for browse for sheets, and it's going to bring forth all the folders. So you can see these folders that are showing here are the same ones if I were to show you my Google Drive. So you see the same folders that are here are the same ones that UiPath StudioX has been able to bring here. Okay, so I have that file I want to use inside here, unicorn name. So I'm going to open it and reference it as unicorn name spreadsheet. Okay, yes, the recording will be available. So unicorn name spreadsheet, right? Now, unlike the use Excel, where because it's on your desktop, Studio is able to just pick the data and use it, and you can use the bots can use that data to type on the browser. In this case, you need to read. You need to read that cell first. Okay. Now, if I go to my Google Drive, this is Reboot Your Skills. This is the unicorn name for page. You can see that the data I want to read is on cell A2. Please note this, on cell A2. So I go back to Studio, and this time you can see under G Sheets section, there's read cell. I'm going to drag the read cell here, and you see it's referencing my unicorn name Google Sheets, and it's sheet 1. Let's be sure that it's on sheet 1. Sheet 1, and I need cell A2. For the other one, I will need cell B2. Okay, so I'll go back to StudioX and say A text, remove the 1 and type in 2 there and save it, right? Then what value should this be? That is name, of course. So I'm going to create a variable and save it as name, because I want to use this value for the next thing I want to do, right? And the next thing I want to do is type into. I want to type into the browser. So I drag a type into here, and I need to indicate on Chrome this field. Click on it. It's going to get the target and the anchor, validate it, it's okay, and then I confirm this. Good. So the value I want to type, I click on the plus button, go to use variable, use name. This name I took from the top there, right? And then I go back again and read the next cell. In this case, I'm doing B2. Let's be sure that we are supposed to use B2. This is B2 here, right? Go back to Studio and click on this text and type B2 and save. The value, we need to save it into a variable so that we can use it to type later. So create variable, and the name we're going to put is birth month. Okay, that. And now I can go back and drag a type into here, indicate on Chrome. This is the, sorry, I'm not going to use a type into, sorry about that. I need to use a select because it's a drop down, select. Please take note of that. You need to use a select item. So dragging a select item, indicate on the browser, this is it. And it gets the target and the anchors, validates, we're good to go, confirm. And the value I want to use is the variable I just saved as birth month, right? And now I need to click on the submit button, click, drag the click here, just like we did for the Microsoft Excel. I need to click on this guy and then validate and confirm it. Okay, but now I need to pick the name. So I will have to go to my, and type in a name, Ronak, and type in a month, let's say September. Sorry, Ronak, I don't know your birth month, but let's use September for the purpose of this demonstration.
It's April.
And click on this. Is it September?
Yeah.
Wow, wow! You can see that we are in sync. We are in sync. So this is Ronak's unicorn name. So I go back here, and I need to use a get text, right? And drag it here. indicates the part of the UI. Click on this. Then there is no anchor for it, but I want to use this label as the anchor. So I just move my mouse pointer to this. And if I validate, you can see successful. I click on this. But I need to save this value. So I'm going to create a variable and call this my unicorn name. Okay, so we are done with Chrome and done with Google Sheets. So we can go back up and collapse this. Now we want to send a mail, so we will use Gmail. So we're not using desktop Outlook here now. So you can select an account. In case you don't have anyone added already, you can click on add new account, and Studio will take you through the process of logging into your Google account, and it's going to do that same thing for you. And then your email address will appear here. For this purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use this mail account, and I want to reference it as Gmail, leave it like that. And I want to send mail. So I'm going to drag this here, as we did before. This time around, I'm going to type the person I want to send it to, Ronak MVP at UiPath community.com. And then we'll save that. Then subject, my unicorn name. So click on text again, my unicorn name. Then we want to send the message as a text. So we use the value we said before, use variable, and this time my unicorn name. For this purpose, I'll just send it as a draft because this is not a real email address, okay? And I think we are good to go. So at this point, we are going to run the automation. And just for the purpose of the demonstration, if I go to a mail, you're going to see, go to drafts, you're going to see that there's nothing in the draft. So let's, if it works, we're supposed to see the draft here. The bot is supposed to put the draft there. So let's run. So let's see what happens. So it got David from the sheet and the month, get energetic raindrop mists, and it's done. So let's go to and refresh. Can you see this? So that's how you can do your bots, either using your desktop applications, Microsoft Excel and Outlook desktop, or if you want to use your G Suite, you can use your Gmail and your Google Sheets. So any question at this point? That's the end of the demo. Any question? Any question? Any question? Sorry, I can't hear you.
No, I think we do not have any questions around it. So considering the time for everyone, if you have any queries, please write to community@uipath.com. I have written the email ID on the chat. We will make sure that we answer all of your queries. If any of you are still facing challenges around installation of the platform, please write to us as well. We can guide you on that front, because that's the first thing. You can't do anything without unless you actually install the platform. So,
yes, and if I were to add to that, Rohit, there is a forum link where they can type in their questions. I'm going to put that on the chat. So for this particular automation exercise, that's the forum link. Put your questions there and will be attended to.
super. So I think that is good. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please make sure that you go through the Reboot Your Automation Skills program in detail. I'm sure you will have quite a lot of queries, and you will only get more and more queries the more you actually practice on the platforms. And we have lined up more of these sessions for you to come and interact with the experts to learn and get your questions or queries cleared. Thank you so much. I think all the best for your learning journey. A big thanks to Ronak and Afe for providing your time and expertise to everyone and helping them in their journey. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.